Welcome to episode 38 of the Let's Talk Games podcast. My name is Dan. In the middle, we have Uncle Chunt. Good evening, sir.
Evening to you, sir.
And Jamie on the other side of the pond. How are you?
I am good, mate. It is cold here.
Well, it's freaking hot down here. Sun is moving over our country, our grand sunburnt country, as we speak.
Do a trade. I'll swap you. Happily swap.
Oh, man. Done.
You know what? Because it's so goddamn hot outside, or it's so damn cold outside, you can stay indoors, you can play some video games. So let's talk about what we've been playing this week. Uncle Chunt, let's go with you, my friend.
Segue.
Nice. Yeah, it's pretty disappointing, actually. I haven't played anything this week. I've been zonked all week. Just these 4 a.m. gym sessions before work, and then after work, I'm just like, just chill, and I end up falling asleep around 8 o'clock or something that evening. So, and it's just been too hot. I haven't wanted to do anything or think, you know. So yeah, a bit boring. But I did get these things. I went on a spree. I got one of these, and I got one of these. It's like a coffee travel mug thing, and I got some socks, you know, because why the fuck not? They're Xbox socks. and I got an Xbox cap, you know, it's pretty cool, and a beach towel, an Xbox beach towel, man, you know. So
because you can actually go to the beach now.
Oh yes, I'm preparing for my trip away. I'll have some nice flash things. I'm just gonna put that there, little comfort blanket thing. No, I think I got this the last time since we spoke. This controller as well, the Uncle Chunt's special edition controller. So you know, game space is there. I just haven't played anything.
Jamie, how's your life going? Have you thrown any of these consoles through the window yet?
No, not quite. So I played a few, and to just prefix what you're talking about, both of my consoles seem to have coil whine. The Xbox is nowhere near as bad as the PlayStation. I can't remember if I mentioned how bad the PlayStation was last week. I probably did. It's outrageous. Like, even with headphones on, I can hear it. I shouldn't have to wear headphones. That shouldn't be a pre-mandate for this machine. Spoke to Sony in the week. And they're like, it's acceptable literally because the consoles are behind my head, you know, it's more perceivable because it's so close to my ears. It's like, that should not matter. Like, I should be able to sit with it on my lap and not hear coil whine. Alas, video game side of it, I played some more of Godfall. I'm getting into the combat loop of it. Like, it is quite fun. Like I said, when I spoke about first playing it, you have to kind of reteach yourself how you play kind of hack and slash type of games, because usually they follow a set kind of gamepad layout, and this one's a little bit backwards, but I have managed to kind of get to grips with it, and then I had to turn it off after about 40 minutes because I couldn't stick the noise behind me, and then I was like, right, what can I just stick on the Xbox and give it a go on a Series X compatible game? So I installed Fortnite because it's it's optimized, for Series X, and it's beautiful. It looks pretty much as good as it does on PC, which is outrageous. Plays really well, but then I noticed a little bit of a clicking sound again. I was like, is the PlayStation in rest mode? And I was like, nope, it is completely off. And it seems like an optimized for Series X game happens to start to make the thing sound like it's got some electrical buzz going on as well. So yeah, fun times. The game's obviously Fortnite's Fortnite. There's nothing new there. Just hanging out for Cyberpunk, man. Other than that, I've played some FIFA. That update comes out today, actually. Dan, you should get your Madden update as well. From what I've seen, they've put out a video of what it looks like, and it just looks like it's a bit shinier. It doesn't look like there's any real drastic change, just a little bit more polish. The image. Yeah, nothing else is being played. I did 2 games of Call of Duty World War II on is it World War II? On PlayStation, because it was included with PS Plus, wasn't it? I was like, I'll just play a Call of Duty multiplayer just to shoot some things. Turns out I'm still really good at that game. First game I hopped into, I had like a 40-9 kill death ratio, and I was like, you don't lose it. But yeah, that's my week in video games. Mixed bag, Daniel. What about you?
Well, you're better. I guess you're better at riding a bike than you are a scooter these days. So yeah, I got my I downloaded the Madden PlayStation 5 upgrade. I played. It makes you play like a little exhibition at the start, so it was only like 3 or 4 minutes. But they are doing a couple of little things with the controller with it. Like, you know, because we're playing in the snow, so you're running on the snow, so the vibration's a little bit different. You hear them calling out the plays through the microphone on the controller. It's just weird because it doesn't feel as good as Astro's Playroom, like, so it's not as specific, so it feels a little bit out of touch. So you'll feel them running and they'll run maybe 4 steps and you feel like 3 steps on the controller, so it feels a little bit odd, but they're playing with it, so you know, who knows what they'll do in the future. But so that was only for, yeah, as I said, 4 or 5 minutes. I finished Star Wars Battlefront 2. The story is fun in terms of it's essentially like a victory lap for Star Wars. It's like you go around, you meet pretty much all the characters from the original trilogy and some from the new trilogy, no spoilers. But I mean, slight spoilers, but you don't stay as part of the Empire for the entire game as Aiden Versio, or whatever her name is. And I feel like the turn happens very, very quickly. And I kind of thought the way that the story was going to go was that it wasn't just going to go jump from one side to the other. I thought she was going to kind of go off on her own and do her own thing and jump between both sides. But that didn't happen. So I feel like they just did that so you could go to these different locations that you know of and these characters that you know of.
That's disappointing. I was hoping that game would be like, she's the Empire. I would have liked to have seen like she's a legit dedicated to the Empire, like all the way, you know, from that perspective.
Yeah, she is for probably the first third-ish. And then a switch kind of happens and it's not as interesting for a little period of time and towards the end. But to be honest, like, it's just a game that takes you through everything. So like with the flying, you fly pretty much every vehicle that you can possibly think of in the Star Wars universe. Which brings me to, I also bought Squadrons this week and started playing Squadrons. I actually like the flying in Star Wars Battlefront more than Squadrons. I enjoy having Squadrons as a game, and I think the problem is, and I'm only early on, but at the start of Squadrons, you're in these scenarios where there's not a lot of things around you, so everything seems like it takes way too long to get to, and then when you're there, you're suddenly there because you have no perception of distance. Whereas, you know, in Battlefront, they're just throwing you in these like big dogfights, so suddenly there's like things going, you know, there's TIE fighters going all around you or X-Wings going all around you, and you're going between Star Destroyers and stuff like that. So there's always something around you to let you know where you are in that level. Whereas, in Squadrons, at least at the start, because they're just teaching you how to fly a plane, you're just going along vast empty space, literally. So hopefully it starts to get a little more intense. But I do feel like it's definitely like they have taken consideration for people playing it in VR. Which I can do, but I feel like I have to hook up my PlayStation 4 to be able to do that. So I don't know. I have to look into that. But yeah, so those are the games I played. Moving on to the first topic, Jamie, you mentioned it before. Fortnite. Fortnite has this new season. I've never played Fortnite in my life, but there's some interesting things coming out of it for this new season. After the Marvel season finished, we got Mandalorian. The Mandalorian skin became available, and then today there was the trailer for Kratos coming into Fortnite, and there's been some possible leaks about Master Chief coming as well. So Epic just trying to bring everyone together, I guess. We're playable everywhere and we're getting everyone's characters. So my question to you guys, Jamie, does it excite you as someone that has actually played it? Chunt, I don't know if you've played it before, but do we think they'll get a Nintendo character? And if so, who would it be? And then, is it just me? I feel like Fortnite is, it's like what Glee was to everyone 10 years ago, where they just started covering all the famous songs and that's all you heard about all the time. Now it's just in Fortnite, you're just getting the most popular TV characters, movie characters, whoever they want to put in there. Jamie, I'll lead it off with you because Fortnite is not my jam.
Yeah, I think it's starting because of the ebb and flow of pop culture in general. I don't think that there's many areas it can't touch. Like it's got so big that it's almost it surpasses anything that it tries to encroach on or tries to use or tries to pull in. So it's not a surprise that it's pulling in from each of those kind of three huge pillars. It doesn't shock me. It doesn't surprise me. I think that they're going to hit a bit of a peak soon, and when that happens, it's kind of a case of readdressing. All right, now what? Because otherwise they're going to start losing community members, losing people investing and putting money into it. So I can see that happening pretty soon. But for the time being, they're at kind of the apex of everybody's brain, aren't they? So fair play to them. More power to them.
Hunt, Nintendo characters, can we see them? Are you excited about Master Chief?
I don't think they'll get a Nintendo because Nintendo's like, no, you come to us. We have Smash Bros. Everybody wants to be a part of our party. We don't play that kind of game. I don't see that happening. Look, the Master Chief thing's cool. I'm always happy to see Chief getting around. I want to see him come back to form, and if to keep the spirit alive in the minds of gamers, if he has to be in Fortnite, so be it. I mean, it's a fitting place for him. It's all gunplay stuff anyway, which is kind of funny because the first Halo build was a third-person shooter, which is what Fortnite is, so that's pretty cool. The Kratos thing was like, what? Cool. I mean, that's cool, but it's like, holy shit. All right. Cool. This whole Fortnite thing is just like that. That's my reaction every time. Like, all right. It did this Avengers event better than the Avengers game did. That's what everybody's saying online, and I could believe that after playing the game. But I mean, Smite's done the same thing. They had the Ninja Turtles on their game recently as well, which was like, wow, that's out of left field. Didn't expect that. And like Brawlhalla has had a lot of the indie game mascots like Yooka-Laylee and Guacamelee, or those kind of characters in their game. So it's not anything new. But Fortnite being the big thing, it's kind of a big deal than all the other ones. Yeah, look, it's great. Whatever. It's going to be bizarre seeing Kratos and a PlayStation logo on your Xbox. That'll be surreal in itself. I'd boot it up just for that, just to see it. Something you think you'd never see, which is kind of cool with these things, But yeah, whatever, man. I don't have any affinity for Fortnite. I gave it a go once just to see what the hype was about and checked out. It's like, all right, not for me. Bye. But yeah, whatever. I'm done. That's all I need to say on it.
Yeah, well, I guess I shouldn't be surprised with the Master Chief connection, because Microsoft's always had a good connection with Epic, and the fact that Sony owns 2% of Epic because of last year when they bought those shares, so it's not surprising. I feel like it's the only place where Epic is friends to all the console manufacturers, so they're the only ones that could probably play nice with everybody at the same time.
But their product by that point is arguably bigger than any of the platforms. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like it's everywhere. So you kind of they want it there. Do you know what I mean? And anything they can do to kind of get leverage or pump more money into their ecosystem via, be it Microsoft, Sony, wherever, they're going to do that, aren't they? But yeah, the Nintendo things, I kind of agree with you that they're not gonna get someone, but then I could see them tomorrow turn around and be like, hey, Waluigi's in it. You know, they wouldn't
so
surprise
apparently
anyone,
the theme for this season is hunters, and you know, I don't know. I mean, if they put Mario in as a hunter, that really changes the context of the Super Mario games of why he's going after Peach. But
yeah, so it's almost like, who would it be? Like Star Fox or something, maybe. He's a bit of a bounty hunter.
Samus, yeah, true.
Yeah, we'll see. These things happen pretty quickly with Fortnite, so will probably happen before this podcast goes out. So good on it. So we'll move along. A couple of Sony things. We won't dwell too much on these ones, but I just thought it was interesting talking about the activities and things that people have heard of on the cards that are on the PlayStation 5 system. Apparently they were put there because of certain things that they were hearing from their audience, which were these 4 things that they had no idea how long that they might need, and they don't have 2 + 3 hours to play a game. It takes a lot of time to scan through long help videos when they're stuck, how to engage socially without the risk of spoilers, and they would forget what they're doing in the game from the last time they played it, and it's hard to get back in. So a lot of these cards and things that they set up that we've heard about, which is, you know, it just shows you how long a particular task can take, or if there's a particular trophy that you can jump straight to it and do that. So I just wanted to, Jamie, this is probably one for you, which is, have you used any of these features on the PlayStation 5 yet? And then for both of you, do you think this is a way for them pushing forward, and, you know, will Xbox incorporate some of this stuff? Or I know that they have some of it in previous versions and then gotten rid of it, and whether they bring it back, like the sharing the screen thing has been there before. But yeah, I just want to know if you guys think it will incorporate it. And Jamie, have you used it? So I'll start with you, Jamie.
So I haven't actually used any of it. I don't see the use for a lot of it at the minute. But as I also said as well, I'm struggling to even use my machine for longer than half an hour, 40 minutes to actually put some time into it. I think it's a gimmick. I don't think it's going to survive. And you've only got to look at what, you know, the picture-in-picture stuff you're talking about. Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, it works. Wicked. Microsoft removed the snap mode from the Xbox One because it was chugging system memory, and it wasn't being used. Even TV manufacturers. So Dan, like, your TV can probably do picture-in-picture. Like my generation, it was removed. So I think LG, Series 7 and 8, they had like this season, the Series 7 and 8 models, they allowed you to do kind of split screen and picture-in-picture stuff. Series 9 onwards, they've taken it away. So if TV manufacturers are taking it out as well, the argument for how used is this has to be there. Me personally, as a use case, I would use that. You know, I'm talking the TV manufacturer side, you know, to be able to split my screen and have like my PC open and then the Xbox or something open at the same time, like, and do that. That'd be great. But yeah, in terms of PlayStation doing it, I don't see it hanging around for long, that type of stuff. The activity cards thing, I think there is some merit to that. If I was playing Demon's Souls, like, I think I'd be getting some use out of it. That seems to be where the use cases are coming from at the minute. You know, where you see people are actually using it. So other than that, though, no, personally, I haven't used it. And will Microsoft do something similar? Like you said, they had something similar before. I think their version of it is to where they track achievements. They tell you how much of a percentage through a certain objective you are. So it's like if you pull it up, it'll list your achievements by you've 80% finished this, you've 90% finished that, and it kind of goes down in order. But past that, I don't see them investing the time in it because I really do think it's gonna pass. It'll be a Sony first party thing, and it'll be discontinued sooner than later.
Does any of it sound appealing to you?
Well, see, I've already lived through it in 2013, so I already know what it's like. You know, on the Xbox One. when those features are already there. Yeah, I don't think it's going to stick around, man. I really don't. I totally agree with everything Jamie just said. Cool, whatever. I just think it's funny how the PlayStation players, the rabid fans were, high praise, this is amazing, features are great. It's like, all right, the rest of us like, well, we had this about 10 years ago, whatever. But the achievement tracking thing, yeah, that's pretty cool, and they've honed that down a bit in the latest update for the new consoles. It just gives you more focus on how to track the achievements that you're currently working on, and you can actually choose which ones that you want to have in priority on your list, which is cool if you want to do all that kind of stuff. I've done that a few times. It's not big on my priority thing, but I do see the use for the picture-in-picture thing. I'm guilty of, like, when I was playing ukulele, trying to find some goddamn pages and stuff in that game. I got stuck on a few things. I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? Where do I go? And I'll just get out my phone and just bring up a video and then watch a clip and just see the part that I want. And okay. And then jump right back into my game and keep going. So the use is there, but I don't really want it on my console if it's going to be taking up resources. I want my game to have all the resources available for it. And everyone's got a phone, like Blizzard said. You've all got a phone, don't you? Just pull it out, do what you need to do, and on with your day. But whatever. Yeah, cool. Yep.
Well, so I've used actually a bit of it, especially in Astro's Playroom. So I use the what was it? So I use the ability to be able to go straight to, like, if I was trying to find a collectible, I would be able to go straight to that level and then go and try and find it. And then I also pulled up the help video, which was actually really good, because they basically start you off at the spot and then they take you just before the point that you reach where the collectible is. So they don't show you, but they show the person walking straight up to that point. Next, the thing I actually used the other last week was the split screen stuff. With my brother, he was playing Madden and he was like, we're in the draft. He's like, this is who I'm drafting. And he's trying to explain it to me. I said, wait, just give me a second. Now, it took me a little while to try and find it, but eventually I did do it. And it actually ran really well. I was actually really impressed. Because we were talking to each other, and as he was doing it, it was pretty much happening instantaneously on the screen. So I was actually pretty impressed with how it ran. Obviously, it's lower res and everything like that. Problem is, even if you split, because you can either split it and put it in the different corners of the screen, or you can just have it snap to the side. Problem is, when we were reading down the stats of players and stuff, you can't read it unless you make it full screen, because it's just so small. I'm like, I have no idea what you're actually looking at. So that was a thing, but I have used it. It's interesting. I don't know if I'd use it for everything. I used it in Spider-Man to find out what trophies I need to get. The problem is, one of them was like, go to the cemetery. I was like, crap, where the freaking hell is the cemetery? And it didn't really have anything else to help me to where that was in Miles Morales. So I feel like I'll use it a couple of times. There's always a time in a game where I look up at least once to try and find something or figure out where to go. And if it's automatically there, because it's not hard to find, you click on the PlayStation button and it's there along the scroll. So we'll see how they go. I understand why they're doing it. They're trying to keep people playing games for longer, and they're trying to focus on what they have, which is the single player stuff. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's not a selling point whatsoever. All right, so we'll move on to the next topic that I have. So this has been a year of executives and managers leaving studios, and we had another big one this week with Casey Hudson, the general manager of Bioware, and Mark Duras, the executive producer of Dragon Age, both leaving Bioware in their own statements. I just wanted to ask you guys, essentially, what do we see in BioWare's future at this point? Like, what should they be concentrating on? What do you think their plans are with their current games like Anthem? And how far they've fallen since, say, 10 years ago. Jamie, I'll jump back to you. Tell me about BioWare.
I gave you guys my opinion yesterday. I think, man, fuck Casey Hudson. Like, unless there's something behind this that is, seriously unforeseen and, something unavoidable that's led to this. That's the only time you can turn around and go fair play, because every time they get in the ship, he runs away. And I hate that. It's like, yeah, if there's difficult times happening, endure them, come out of it stronger, come out of it, be a leader. Do you know what I mean? And the fact that he just, ups and leaves whenever he feels like it and then comes back and then leaves, it's like, it's not a surprise. The only thing that does make me think that this has been orchestrated by EA this time is the fact that Dara's going as well. They've both been there for a long, long time. Maybe they don't know how to manage teams through, current work from home places. Maybe it's been causing a lot of stress, whatever it might be. But yeah, in a nutshell, don't leave a sinking ship when it's your ship. And it is a sinking ship. They've had some pretty bad flops in recent years, as we know. Anthem, we don't need to harp on about that. Andromeda wasn't very well received. Dragon Age was Game of the Year. The last Dragon Age game won Game of the Year at the Game Awards. And I think they've got to put everything into that now. So I can't remember. Is it Christian Daly? Is that the name of the guy that's taking over Dragon Age? He's currently heading Anthem, the kind of rework of Anthem, and he's been very community focused, putting out blog posts, putting out, like, actually informing the community, look, this is the progress we're making, this is what we're working on, we'll have stuff to show you soon, here's some renders, here's some mock-ups, here's the game running. He showed off the new UI in a blog a few weeks ago, so he seems to get the thing that, we need to communicate what's going on with this game. But what worries me there is if they've pulled him onto Dragon Age, Anthem's done. Do you know what I mean? Like, whatever they've done there, they've either play tested it or something like that, and they've made the decision and gone, sack this, get him on Dragon Age. Like, we like what he's doing as a leader. He can replace Mark Dara, and they can use the team that they've got there to kind of hopefully make a good Dragon Age game. If Dragon Age fails, if Dragon Age is a disappointment, if it is worse than the last one, I think they're done. I really do, because they've got no property left worth salvaging. Each of these retirement letters, as they called them, I don't know if you've read them, they both refer to it as retiring from the studio. Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition or whatever, like, they can't really mess that up. It's just a coat of paint over 3 very good games. And it's like, but we're teasing what happens next for the franchise. If Dragon Age fails, they don't get to make that game. I don't think it happens. I think EA go, we need to cut our losses here. We need to redistribute this talent across studios that are doing successful work. Get Respawn to bring in some of the highly talented people, get them working on the Star Wars games. Like, I really do think that they're on tenterhooks. It's been one bad thing after another for the last sort of, whenever Dragon Age Inquisition came out, was it 2015? 2014. I remember we watched the awards together down that happened at, so it's going back a while. Since then, they've just been on a massive downward spiral, and it's sad, because they are one of the best historic RPG makers in the video game world. So that's my thoughts, that's my opinion. Casey Hudson is a snake. He shouldn't have left his sinking ship. He should have fought his place. Maybe he did. Do you know? Maybe, but it's just he's got form for it. So, if someone's got form, you do kind of get that guilty until proven innocent kind of factor. Which it's not. That's not a great thing on my part to give that opinion. But I do think that's what's happened. Anthem won't get made. Dragon Age will not be successful, and BioWare will cease to exist in its current iteration by 2022, 2023.
You looked into this?
Well, I'm actually surprised BioWare is still around, to be honest, considering how ruthless EA have been with previous studios that were successful, and making good games that sold relatively well, and they shut them down anyway. I don't understand what made BioWare different. Like, yeah, they got some pedigree, but that was a long time ago. I'm not attached to that studio and their products like a lot of other people are out there. I don't care for Dragon Age. I thought the last Bioware game that I was really excited for was Mass Effect 2 and 3. And before then was KOTOR on the original Xbox. And I was one of the victims of the Anthem hype. So I was just like, I'm done. And Mass Effect Andromeda, I know it was a different part of the team. I stopped playing it and I just didn't go back to it. Just wasn't getting it with me. Whatever. So I'm not too fussed. Like it sucks for the people involved, obviously, and I don't want to wish death upon people in a studio, and their livelihoods and all that kind of stuff. But man, it was a fall from grace and a vote of no confidence with those people leaving. It's just the writing's on the wall. It's just they can, polish it up and pretty it up as much as they want, but it's like, well, if you got two of these big names in the studio going, yeah, peace out. We're done. Doesn't really bode well, to say the least. But I hope they turn around. Who knows, man? Anthem 2.0 might come out and blow everyone's socks off. This new Mass Effect could be awesome, and the tease at the end of the game could be like, mind blowing and resurgence. Who the hell knows, man? Whatever. I'm trying to put a positive spin on this, but it doesn't seem likely. Done.
Yeah, I get worried about Dragon Age being this, if it is the be all and end all to save this developer, because to be fully fair, I haven't played all the Dragon Ages. I did play a little bit of the last one and I couldn't get into it. I thought it was going to be just Mass Effect fantasy, but it does operate in a totally different way. But from what I understand, like the first two Dragon Ages, like they're very different to each other in terms of how they play and how they're set up. So they've never even had a full grip on how those games are meant to play. Mass Effect at least always had that from the beginning. I love Mass Effect. Mass Effect is one of my favorite franchises of all time. One day we'll do our favorite trilogies and things, and God, that's up there. I talked about Mass Effect 2 last week when we gave thanks, but I haven't really been into any. It was one of those things where it's like when I talk about CD Projekt Red now, right? Like there are other games, not necessarily my thing, but goddamn, I respect what they have done or did. Yeah. But right now they're way down. You can't even say they're a top 30 studio. Like there's so many other ones that are doing better work. So I'd be worried if Dragon Age was my savior. The Mass Effect Legendary Edition or whatever it's called might just hold off for one more Mass Effect, but I don't know what EA do after that, especially when they like to close down studios that do single player games. So we'll see how they go. All right, we haven't got long left, but I want to sneak in one more topic for the week, and I want to get your opinion because this week, Phoenix Rising. I know that's not the whole name of the game, but Phoenix Rising came out this week. People are pretty positive on it. Like most people are like, it's a good game. Some say it's great, and some there's not a lot of negatives about it. And what I wanted to find out, because there was a lot of criticism going into this game that it's just Breath of the Wild, and then from people I've been listening to this week, they're talking about, well, the gameplay is more like Assassin's Creed, but the structure of it is Breath of the Wild, which to some people those sound like two really good games. But I want to get your opinions and your first thought when I say this. Is Ubisoft better or bad for the industry? Like, do you have, when you think of Ubisoft, do you think of all the good that they do, or do you automatically think of all the crap that they do? Because there's I've got a lot of pros and a lot of cons on both sides for this. Jamie, what are your thoughts on Ubisoft and a game like Phoenix Rising?
Current year argument, they're that's a loaded question because they've done nothing. They've done nothing of any good really this year. All the scandals going on. I think I don't know. In my brain, I've learned to separate the two. I've learned to separate Ubisoft, the corporation, from the teams and the studios that build the games, because in large part I really enjoy their games. Odyssey is the best thing I've played this year. I sat thinking about that the other day. I was like, of all the stuff I've played this year, what's been that game that's really got me? And it was Odyssey. You know, and that beats out. I played Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man this year. I played Animal Crossing. Obviously, like I've played these hyped up games, but Odyssey was the thing that did it for me. Valhalla not so much, because it's nowhere near as good as Odyssey in my opinion. And that's largely down to, as you said about Phoenix, you know, they changed the combat, whereas the combat and stuff in Phoenix looks very akin to Odyssey. I'm pretty sure it's the same team, isn't it? It's the Odyssey team that built Phoenix, so there's no reason to say that I wouldn't enjoy it, and I will get to it eventually. But in terms of are they good or bad for the industry, like I said, I think it's too loaded to answer with clarity, because the corporation, no, they're bad. That the executives, the way they treat their staff, the way they treat people, the way they cover up sexual allegations, all the rest of it is terrible for the industry. It's been going on for too long. It's not just them, it's a bunch of other studios. It's the bad, it's the negative, it's the horrible shit that we have to hear about week in, week out. I'm just pleased that people are talking about it finally this year. You know, you've had a lot of people come out and actually call them out on it, which is good. Hopefully they are doing stuff about it. But yeah, in terms of the games they build, the studios that they have, I think by and large they are good for the industry. I think they get a bit samey. The games do get a bit samey, but it's nice to see something like this that does take some of those samey aspects and then put a completely different lick of paint on it, make it really comedic and just, you know, fun as opposed to serious and involved, and they can have success with it. So yeah, it's an about way to answer your question, but yeah, corporation, terrible for the industry. Studios, good for the industry.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, you touched on what I was going to mention, is separating the art from the artist, which you kind of have to do in, you know, cinema as well. Like there's some heinous directors out there, but you go, God damn, their movies are good. You know, I'm not going to name names, but it's like, man, how can I can't hate this movie because I really enjoyed it, but that guy did it. Do I just hate it by default now, even though it's excellent and I thoroughly enjoyed it? It's the same kind of thing here. It's like, do you just not just turn the blinders on, but acknowledge there's problems, but people made this game. They put a lot of work into it, and it's not their fault this shit's going on, so you can enjoy their games. It's one of those kind of sticky situations, and you're torn because, like, well, do I financially support this company that's doing this shit, even though they made this awesome game? You know, yeah, it's a whole kit and caboodle. But yeah, look, Ubisoft are massive, and their resources that they can pull and what they can make and what they can take risks on. Like, not a lot of other companies can do that. I mean, the fact that Skull and Bones hasn't come out yet, and it's been how long now, and it's still coming out, you know? But most other studios are probably like, nah, we'll just cancel it because we can't afford to keep it rolling, you know? I missed the Ubisoft that did, like, the TMNT movie game. I really enjoyed that. You could just get all the achievements just playing the game once. And it was a fun platformer, you know, based on that CG animated Turtles movie back in the 2000s, whatever, when 360 era. I missed that kind of stuff. And they did that Prince of Persia reboot, which was like real painterly. And it was more platformer based, not like Sands of Time. Like it was, I don't know if you guys played it, but I loved that game. I even tracked it down and bought another copy of it because I wanted to play it again. I missed that Ubisoft, where they were real creative and did odd things that you wouldn't expect. But like you say, Jamie, a lot of the stuff, it's like they're just sharing the same assets and engines and just keep like putting a new skin on every time to play something else. It's a whole different game, but it plays the same. All the mechanics are the same, but it looks different and there's new characters. It's a different game, you know? So it is, yeah, the real same. Yeah, that's kind of why I just don't bother playing Ubisoft games these days. Like, you know, you can't differentiate Assassin's Creed from not Naughty Dogs. What is it? Watch Dogs, and those similar games that they're making.
Watch Dogs.
It's all the same. Yeah. It's all the same shit. Like even the Tom Clancy stuff. It's all samey. I think they just need to come back and go, all right, let's just clean house. Let's bring back Sam Fisher. Let's reboot everything, and let's make this company something worth being proud of again. But yeah, whatever. I mean, this is a deep, deep barrel that we could go into for it. But it's the question you ask is, are they good or bad? And I think we've already just spoken about just separating the good from the bad as much as you can. You deserve to enjoy things, even though there's some sinister things behind the scenes and that you can't help. So what else are you going to do?
I think there's stuff that they do really good with their games. I think, with Assassin's Creed in particular, the fact that they don't shoehorn in a multiplayer aspect. They took a year off between Syndicate and Origins to get their shit right. And then after Odyssey, they do another year break, so they don't oversaturate their audience. I think they support a lot of their multiplayer stuff, like The Division and Rainbow Six and For Honor. Like, they continually keep those audiences engaged. And talking about Assassin's Creed, switching it to an RPG is a big thing to do, to go from just an action game to a full-on RPG. Like, you can really alienate people doing it that way. But as you said, they also have a formula which gets repetitive. They're political without being political, which can be frustrating because they constantly make political messages, but they say they're not being political. Microtransactions are horrible in their games, like it's the worst. And to me, they keep teasing Sam Fisher, and Sam Fisher never rocks up in anything. Anyway.
Yeah, but like another thing, just to top that off, like they do kind of, just to correct myself, they do take risks still with like Steep, that snowboarding game where it's like an open world snowboarding thing, and that skydiving one, and then they've got that new like downhill bike game that's coming out. Just off the wall shit that you're like, all right, cool. So that kind of stuff's that's that kind of stuff too. But there's a whole shitload of wrong with this industry that we could just go on about. But just play the games, man. Play what you want.
All right, we'll wrap it up here for tonight, boys, or this morning for you, Jamie. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you again next week for some more topics.
Yeah, I'll be around.
Anybody going to say goodbye, or like we just hard cut, or what?
I was waiting for you to say something, Jamie.
Chud's just like, I'll be around. Yeah. Fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, we'll be around. Yeah, we'll see you then.
Oh,
goodbye. Bye.
And wash your hands.
Yeah, fuck is all.